If your resume was a piece of content, because it is.
Yeah.
It's a marketing slick. And imagine every day you're posting that piece of content. You're posting it.
Mm-hmm.
You're posting it. Okay, and it's not LinkedIn. You're posting it to whatever job board it is.
Yeah.
But just imagine that the job board, whatever company is another social media. It's another LinkedIn. And you're posting every day. You're posting. Shoot, you might be posting 5 a day. You're like five times post.
20.
Post, and you get no views, no comments, no likes. That's what's happening. So would you keep doing that? Why would you keep doing that?
No.
Welcome to the Who You Know Show, where what you know is important, but who you know can make all the difference in your wealth, health, business, career, your relationships, and definitely in your life. And we're here to help you level up, get noticed, and connect to your next opportunity. And today we're going to be diving into the power of personal branding, but not the boring buzz-filled word, not that kind. Okay, We're gonna
not just a commercial.
We're gonna talk about how to become undeniably visible in the job market. That's pretty noisy out there, right? It's a lot of noise, a lot of people applying, okay? But I'm going to show you how to be undeniably visible and not to play small, okay? So if you've ever felt overlooked, ignored, or invisible, this is the episode for you. We're going to show you how to overcome that today. So let's rock, let's roll, let's go.
Let's go.
All right, so look, you could have the perfect resume. Actually, you want to know what?
There is no perfect resume.
Bingo. Actually, the perfect resume is the one that gets seen.
Right. The one that gets you to the top.
Gets you to the top of the pile.
Yep.
Okay? But look, you could think you have a perfect resume. You're doing all this tailoring and, doing the keywords, and you could even ChatGPT it and all of that. You could have all the experience in the world. Right? You're qualified. How many of you online have ever felt like, oh, I'm so qualified for this job? I got all the experience.
It's kind of like that old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. One man's treasure is another man's trash, right? I mean, it just depends on who's seeing your resume.
Yeah, that's true. It's visibility. But what about the experience? You feel like you're qualified for this job. You got all the experience in the world, but you still get passed up.
Right.
Okay, why does that happen? You're like, I'm so qualified, I got this. It's because nobody knows who you are. They don't see you. Okay, you're applying online and it's going nowhere. So in this episode, we're going to help you get crystal clear on a few things, okay? So the first thing is we're going to get clear on your brand message. Okay, your brand message needs to be on point, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to help you to build visibility and credibility online so people can see you, know you, like you, trust you, hire you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not just visibility.
Yeah.
Credibility's a lot.
Well, but hold on. Let's talk about that. So best known beats best every day of the week. You don't need to be the best at whatever you do or best HR manager. You need to be the best known HR manager. Okay, the best known HR manager will beat the best every day of the week. You want to know why? Because the other guy's the best kept secret, and nobody knows he exists. They don't know how good he is. He could be great at his job, but no one knows about it. And so he gets overlooked. But the best known doesn't get overlooked. They get seen, they get noticed, they get hired. I want you to think about the best known hamburger. That's McDonald's, right? The best known hamburger. And they sell more than anyone else. Are they the best hamburger? Hell no. They're not the best hamburger. They're the best known. Think about Starbucks. Starbucks is the best known coffee. Are they the best coffee? No. Best known beats best all day long. So we need visibility, we need credibility, and we need you to be visible, and we need you to get known. Okay, we're going to talk about that. We're going to use storytelling. Facts tell.
Stories sell.
Stories sell. Okay, we're going to use storytelling to attract. Okay, I want you to stop chasing and start attracting. Okay, we're going to attract the opportunities to come to you. And then last but not least, we're going to shift from being a job seeker to a trusted expert. Okay? And that's all about perception. Right? Think about one is a job seeker, right? You're kind of like, looking, searching, seeking, chasing, desperate. Those are all the kind of words that kind of circle in the mind of the job seeker.
Mm-hmm.
How about trusted expert?
Right. One is a position of power and one is not.
Yeah, absolutely. Thought leader. Okay, when you think about thought leadership, that person's not looking for a job. He's not seeking. He's attracting.
Well, let's just put it this way. I guess the difference between job and career, right?
Yeah.
What does William
Job.
McLaughlin say?
Yeah, he says J-O-B, just over broke.
Yeah. So that's the mentality, right? J-O-B versus career.
Yeah, but also, again, a thought leader, someone that is an expert in their field, someone that is the trusted expert is attracting opportunities. They're not chasing opportunities.
Right.
The job seeker is the chaser. The trusted expert is the attractor.
Well, I know we'll get into the content when we get to that point. I want to talk about and get your feedback too on, and maybe if you want to right now, on people that just want a job.
Yeah.
Right? Because there are some people out there, they don't want a career. They don't want to be a thought leader. They just want.
They want to coast.
Yeah, they just want a job.
Fly under the radar.
Well,
they don't want to be seen.
Let's give them some credit, right? Let's give them some credit. They're not. Their ambitions are elsewhere, maybe, right? Let's maybe frame it that way, more positive way. Their ambitions are elsewhere. They don't want to be defined by their work. They work to be. They don't live to work. They work to live, right?
Yeah, but I would. I could debate all of that because if they're flying under the radar so that they can work to live, okay, their lifestyle isn't going to be near as good as the person that is the go-getter, the high achiever that's going to make more, have more, and be able to
but
create
we're getting
the lifestyle.
Into the more, and some people don't need the more.
More to be able to give more, to be able to have more, to be able to make more impact. It takes money to make money, baby.
Yeah, but not everybody is after that, right?
Well, what are you after? Let's get into it. Let's dive into it.
Life says
you totally sidebarred this conversation, so let's get into it.
Well, let's get into that before we proceed. So there are some people that, their passions are not career-oriented, right?
What do you want is the question.
Okay.
If you're not career-oriented, okay, great. What do you want? You're somewhere else. Your mind is somewhere else. I don't want the bag. I don't want the money. What do you want? What do you want?
It could be a lot of things. Could be time with family.
Okay. So what is time?
Time, for some people, is money.
No. Time is money.
No, but hold on. If you go to work and you make the level of money that supports that goal, then they're happy with that. And there are a lot of people out there. Now, not everybody is like that. Everybody is like you.
So what you're saying is I'm going to coast by, I'm going to skate, I'm going to get just enough. I just need enough. I'm going to get just enough until a life event happens, which will happen, which is going to put them behind. A career transition is going to happen. It's going to put them behind. Maybe. This is how people get into a position of needing just a J-O-B. It's because they're not. No,
that doesn't mean that they're making bad financial decisions. They may be still saving. They may still be doing what they need to protect themselves against those other risks, right?
Maybe.
So it's not all just cut and dried, is I guess what I'm saying. There are people out there that, what we're talking about here is getting noticed in the career transition, the job transition, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And those people still need this.
You're talking about the difference. No, I get it. Everybody needs this.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to tell you is you're trying to justify somebody who is just a get by, skate, underachiever. You're trying to justify an underachiever, and I don't agree with it because I'm an overachiever. I don't agree with it. I don't think that people that just want to get by, do the bare minimum in life, I don't think their priorities are misconstrued.
See, I think you're blending two things there. And you're saying people that are satisfied with their station or position in life and their income and are able to do the things they need to do to fulfill the obligations that they have and address the risks, right? You're throwing that on them, I guess, that I don't agree with, is that they're your words are they're just skating by. They're just doing the bare minimum. I didn't say they're doing the bare minimum. I'm just saying that they're satisfied.
There's a difference between contentment and doing the bare minimum, flying under the radar.
Right. Big difference. There is a big difference there.
Absolutely. And it all goes down to how do you define success? And, if you define success, like I use my father in this example. My father's very content. He's got contentment.
Fair. Yeah, that's a good example.
Okay. But he's getting by.
Okay.
He's in retirement and he's getting by. He doesn't have surplus. One life event, one thing, it's not, he's getting by.
Sure.
And that isn't his own fault. He's had some life events, some things that have happened
out of his control.
Through divorces and things like that have happened that have put him in the position that he's in. But my point is that I don't want to try to justify an underachiever as somebody that's skating by just to flying under the radar.
Right. And that's not what I'm saying. That's not who I was painting the picture about.
Yeah.
So, but and I think this all stemmed from you want to be the trusted expert. You want to be the thought leader.
Correct. You started to try to justify, but no, you started to go the sideways direction with that.
Well, so I guess here's the thing. Look, there's the analogy about, hey, there are people that have to clean the toilets, right? And I'm not saying that's...
But that ain't what this show's about.
That's not what this show's about. Guys,
this is the Who You Know show. This is about success. This ain't about going in and stop listening to him try to justify why you want to clean the toilets.
All right, well, we can cut that part out, but...
No, we're not cutting it out. This is great banter for the show. This will be a great episode.
At any rate...
My point is, I'm trying to help people with this show to reach high levels of success. In the beginning, we're here to help you level up, get noticed, and connect to your next opportunity.
All right, fair enough.
That's what this episode is about.
All right.
Not coast by, do the bare minimum.
Right. See, those are words you're putting into my mouth.
And get a job.
Right. Those are words you're putting in my mouth that I didn't say. But let's proceed.
Anyways, okay, so we're talking about, in this episode, we're going to talk about how to get clear on your brand message, okay? Be visible, build credibility online, use storytelling to attract, okay? And position yourself as the trusted expert. If that don't sound like you could get off of this episode right now.
This ain't the show for you.
This ain't the show for you. If this is for you, okay, and you want to stop chasing and start attracting, let's rock, let's roll, let's go. Let's first talk about what's happening in the landscape of personal branding, okay? Because there's a lot of news, a lot of things going on. Personal branding, it's not optional anymore, guys. That's the first thing I want you to know. It literally, the days of this being optional, this is kind of my point. It's not optional. It is absolutely a necessity. That's why, I know for job seekers, they're like, man, I got to create a personal brand, and I got to, post on LinkedIn, and I got to create content, and I got to, be an influencer.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, the emergence of TikTok and Reels and social media in general.
Social media
has dictated
the digital world, the online world. We have the real world, the face-to-face, and we have a digital world.
Sure.
I mean, this episode's going to get chopped up in a million pieces and shown up on and that's why I actually like the banter between me and you going back and forth, because it's going to get clipped. It's going to get clipped. It's going to be great.
Sure.
Probably have one of those clips go viral. But do you remember when we first started this show and Mark Warner he said, you guys need more banter?
Yeah.
Right?
Right, yep.
That's why I'm cool with it. I'm like, no, let's go. Me and Mark, let's go. But my point is, the personal brand right now, it's not optional anymore. You have to do this. It's part of your career. It's part of, unless you want to be that janitor, okay, unless you want to work at Walmart or McDonald's, okay, sure. Don't have a personal brand.
Right.
I'm not talking to those people. That's not the people I'm talking about.
Right.
But if you want to have an actual thriving career, you're going to have to start creating a personal brand. It's oxygen in today's market. It just is. Hiring leaders and recruiters, they often are going to look at LinkedIn. They're going to look at your content to get an idea of who you are, what you stand for, what makes you unique, what your unique selling proposition is, right? They're going to look at that. They're going to look at the digital footprint. It's not just your resume anymore. It's literally what you're putting online.
I think you need to, and, coming off of just this previous conversation, I think you need to have your brand established at whatever level you're at. There's different levels of, I guess, who your brand or what you might be, right? So, but I think it is important across the board because, look, if you're applying for this job and it's at this level, or you're applying at this job and it's at this level, you still need to be the top person for that level.
You need to showcase your expertise.
Yes.
The value, the problem you solve at any level. I mean, hell, even look at, Mark, you remember we went to this conference and, what's the guy's name? The plumber. He's a plumber.
Wakefield.
Roger Wakefield.
Roger
Wakefield. Now, this guy's a plumber. Okay? And, hey, plumbers make good money, right?
Mm-hmm.
He owns a business.
Yeah, he's got a big business.
Well, let's not talk about his business for a second. Let's just talk about plumbers in general.
Right.
They make good money. Decent.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Some of them make really good money.
Sure.
Especially if you own the business, right?
Yep.
Roger is a whole nother animal.
Right. He's next level.
Absolute next level. Why? What did he do differently than the average, plumber? What did he do differently?
He put his brand on YouTube.
He started showing people how to solve those problems.
Made himself valuable.
How to fix the toilet, how to fix a leaky faucet, how to do that on YouTube. And what people are going to do when they have a leaky faucet, they're going to go to YouTube and type in, how do I fix my leaky faucet? Because they don't want to pay a plumber. They want to try to do it themselves, right? So he was able to market, brand, and exponentially grow. I mean, his YouTube channel exploded. It was personal branding. He was showing the problems that he solves.
Right.
At scale. Personal branding, and his business has exploded, absolutely dominating the game from YouTube.
Well, and what you said earlier is part of this, and that's that credibility, right? Leveraging that to build your credibility.
Oh, 100%. And trust me when I tell you, the difference between that average plumber that makes, whatever they make, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 100,000. I mean, I'm sure they make some good money. Plumbers make good money.
150, whatever.
Because it's a what's it called? It's a specified skill.
Trade,
yep. Right? They make good money. It's funny that people don't want to go for those types of jobs anymore.
Oh, there's a huge shortage.
Right.
Yeah, of trades. Yep.
So, but my point is the difference between that, let's call it $250,000 a year, and he's making millions. He's got a whole fleet.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
I mean, this guy's, it's the brand. It's the personal brand. He is a celebrity plumber.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, he could probably stop plumbing and just run his YouTube channel.
That's exactly what he's done. That's what he's done, 100%. Like he's all in on the content.
Right.
I mean, he's still plumbing, but only to show you, this isn't working or whatever, right? But that's my point. So, but yes, hiring recruiters, hiring managers, all of these folks, they're going to go to your LinkedIn profile and they're going to take a look at you and they're going to see, like, are you, like, show me your value, show me what you can do, show me the problems that you solve.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I think this is well known in the career transition space. When you're applying for jobs, you need to make sure that you're Googling yourself so you know what's out there. And believe me, the recruiters are looking it up.
Oh, yeah. The recruiters
it's part of your brand.
They're Googling you. If you haven't Googled yourself, Google yourself and see what pops up. If nothing's popping up, I'll give you a perfect example. So we do the video resumes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we help job seekers create those. And I remember, I can't remember the lady's name, but we had a lady, she come through. It was probably like 5 years ago. And we made her a video resume. And we put it on YouTube. Okay. and it helped, but it wasn't the thing that got her the job.
Mm-hmm.
But it did help, it got her some visibility and things like that, but it wasn't the thing. Well, fast forward 3 years later, she's back in the job search, right? She had gotten a job and working with a company.
Oh, I remember you telling me about this.
3 years later, she's back in the job search, and it was the thing. They Googled her name.
Found
that
the video.
Pops up first. Boom. They watch her video, and it was a 3-year-old video. But they were like so impressed by that video. Boom. Call, interview. Next thing you know, bada bing, bada boom. And she goes, that was it. Sealed the deal 3 years later.
Wow.
How impactful is that?
Wow. Is that video still on our channel?
Still on our channel on the YouTube, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Crazy. I mean, so the point there is, guys, the content is your digital footprint. We need to get that out there before your resume even. Okay? It's so important. Like the resume, you see what kind of traction that is. Okay, let's dissect that for a second. If your resume was a piece of content, because it is.
Yeah.
It's a marketing slick. It's a piece of content. And imagine every day you're posting that piece of content. You're posting it.
Mm-hmm.
You're posting it. Okay, it's not LinkedIn. You're posting it to whatever job board it is.
Yeah.
But just imagine that the job board, whatever company is another social media. It's another LinkedIn. It's another, right? And you're posting every day. You're posting. Shoot, you might be posting 5 a day. You're like five times post,
20.
post, and you get no views, no comments, no likes. Like that's what's happening. So would you keep doing that? Why would you keep doing that?
No. Well, number one, in that scenario and in reality, what's going on is, and I know you have to have it formatted this way, but it's a poorly formatted advertisement.
Right.
And number two, you're posting it on MySpace.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
Nobody sees it.
Yeah. Nobody sees it.
Yep.
And so, and guys, it's a formality. It's part of the process, but it is not what's going to get you that job. What's going to get you that job is being seen, being visible, being the best known, trusted expert in your field. And so that's what's going to get you that job. So I would almost rather see you spend more time focused on building your personal brand, marketing online, promoting yourself, marketing the problems that you solve, than spending all that time applying at jobs and tweaking up your resume and going through that. You're going to spend the time either way. Where are you spending your time?
Well, to our earlier banter,
Yeah.
right? You just brought up a point which I totally agree with, which is being the expert in your field is the word that you use, right? In your field, like, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but if you're going to be a plumber, or if you're going to be a janitor, right? Or you're going to be whatever, be the best one that you can be, right? You're going to be the top, you're going to be the best janitor out of all the other janitors.
That was my whole analogy with the plumber, with the difference between the
best plumber,
the average plumber, and the best known plumber is Roger Wakefield. Again, best known beats best. This guy could be a better plumber, honestly. This guy over here might be a better plumber. But Roger Wakefield is the best known.
He's the hamburger.
He's McDonald's.
He's McDonald's, yep.
Right?
Yep.
And everybody knows his name, and he's, when you Google, boom, he's popping up. Why? Because of YouTube and all of that.
Yep.
He's got a personal brand. And so, again, to your point, whether you're a janitor, right, or you're be the best damn janitor with a personal brand.
Yeah, and branded. Yeah, branded. Yeah. Yep.
Hey, and you know what's going to happen? You might be a janitor making millions of dollars. Huh? Wait a minute, what? How's the janitor making millions of dollars? Well, because the janitor's got affiliate programs with the mop that he's selling. He's selling lots of those mops.
Yep.
Because he's out there selling mops on camera.
All the products that he's using.
Yeah.
He's got his own channel.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yep.
He's got a personal brand to go with what his job is, and he's slanging. Because where attention goes, money flows. Right?
Yep. Yep.
So it doesn't matter what the heck you do. Personal brand.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Can we say that?
Just do it. Yeah, we can say it. I'm wearing Adidas. I'm wearing Adidas, y'all. Okay. So, okay, we're talking about this. Personal brand's not optional. Okay, you need to build your brand, and that way the hiring managers can find you. They can discover you. They can build the know, like, and trust with you and want to come hire you. Also, according to some recent trends, your authenticity, that's kind of a buzzword, right? Authenticity. But it's what people want, y'all. And value-based content outperforms self-promotion. Okay, that was via Forbes. Forbes said that value-based content, well, what does that mean? Solve a freaking problem, right? When I watch this video or I read your post, it's going to solve a problem for me. It's going to make my life easier. It's 3 ways to do X, Y, Z, 3 simple steps to do, right? Mm-hmm. That's the type of content that you're like, oh, wow. It outperforms self-promotion where you're just talking about yourself and how great you are and all the things that you've done. I see this a lot, actually, in the video resumes. They're like, I've done this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this.
Yep, not the problems. These are the problems that are solved.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
And it's almost like, again, we go back to facts tell, stories sell. Mm-hmm. So you're just giving me the facts. You're giving me the stats. Okay, cool. But give me the stories.
Yeah.
Tell me a story of when you worked for a company and, the boss was crazy and you were able to shift his mindset to implement a strategy that saved that company, $10 million. Don't just say I saved the company $10 million. No, tell me the story.
Yep. Yeah, like I found this inefficiency and saved the company $10 million.
Yeah. No. Tell me the story. No,
I worked with
there's much more to
this
it
group, right?
Yeah.
We collaborated together, whatever the story is. And found this way to save the company $10 million.
Yeah. Tell me the story. So facts tell, stories sell.
And to that point,
yeah.
Rather than we, right? A lot of times when you're telling the story, right? And what I heard on this or read in an article, I can't remember which, but is when you use the word we rather than I, you're communicating to the interviewer that you're a team player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. And especially in the context of an interview. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. We did this. We did that, right? Yep. As a team, it's a collective.
Rather than I did this.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I love that. That's great. And remember, you're not just applying for jobs, guys. You are actually building a beacon right now that attracts the right ones. Okay? Think of it like that. You're lighting the fire, building the beacon. You're wanting to attract, okay? And applying on jobs is just for jobs is not that, okay? Definitely not. All right, so let's get into some different strategies and some things that we can do to help you with this when building your personal brand. We're going to do it with intention, okay? So the first thing is to define your narrative, right? What does that mean? Well, think about what are you passionate about professionally? So, Mark, what are you passionate about professionally? What are the things in our career that really light you up? When are you at your peak performance and just overall fulfilled?
I think it's when I help people understand the strategies, right? And the results that they'll bring, right? Being able to see it.
To see a light bulb.
To see that light bulb go on.
Yep.
Right? And somebody's like, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Because these concepts in our profession are very, sometimes obscure, sometimes very long time based.
Yeah.
And so to see somebody's light bulb go on and really truly get it.
Right.
Right. That's good.
I would echo that for sure. I love seeing. It's almost like you can see light and hope click in Like you can
Yeah.
literally see it
Yeah.
when it happens.
Yeah.
Very cool. That is definitely one of my drivers too. I think my biggest driver, the thing that makes me the most passionate, is just like yesterday when we were in Coach's Corner, the mastermind. I had 4 people back to back to back land a job from the strategies that I've been teaching them. And normally we have 1 or 2, something like that. But to have 4 success stories, 4 lives changed and transformed.
And get the results.
And get the results because they put in the work.
Yep.
And it was one after another. And by the 4th one, I started crying. I got emotional. It was like, wow, impact and the transformation to be able to see. It's like a butterfly, right? You got the caterpillar is what you came to me as. You're like a little caterpillar, right?
Yep.
It's kind of ugly.
Yep.
Kind of ugly and fat. You got some little hairs on you.
Right.
Right? And now I see this butterfly, and I got to help that transformation process.
Yep.
That lights me up, man. Oh, that lights me up. So think about that for you guys. What is it that drives you? What is it that lights you up? Right? This is how we're going to define your narrative. You need to know that. You also need to know what problem you solve for a company. Right? Remember this. You are, whatever it is that you do, you solve a problem. Okay? If your position isn't there with the company, they're fighting some kind of fire. Right? Like as an example, right now we're hiring for an assistant to help Mark in some of the servicing work. Right?
Yep.
And right now, would you agree that there's kind of a fire, a little bit of a fire?
Yeah.
A little bit? It's not like
It's
emergency.
like a slow burn.
Slow burn.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's a little painful, right? Because that person isn't here right now.
Right.
They're not here. So
yeah, those shoes need to be filled.
Correct. And so that adds a lot to your plate and creates friction, and it creates, stress. Mm-hmm. You're having to do it an extra workload, right? And so this person, whoever comes into the company to solve that problem, to step into those shoes, they are solving a problem for us.
Right.
And that's the way you have to look at it, guys. Whatever you do, you're solving a major problem. What problem do you solve?
And I think that a lot of people fall into this trap where, an assistant position is an assistant position, right? I mean, there's, I guess, different levels, executive assistant, right? I mean, there's different levels. But that's what I think people fall in the trap of, is they're like, oh, it's just an assistant position. I'm just applying.
Yeah.
Right? But no, you're not the best assistant, right? How are you communicating and showing and demonstrating that you're the best known assistant?
Yeah. And it's also goes down to, I remember when I was in the car business, they say, don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle.
Yeah.
Right? What does that mean? Well, you're not just going to talk about the features, you're going to talk about the benefits. Okay? So if you're just an assistant, you're just talking about the features. No, I want you to talk about the problem you solve.
Right.
The benefit, the work, the time and freedom that Mark's going to get back by them stepping into the shoes.
Yes.
When they come in, Mark's going to have more time with his kids.
Yep.
Less stress. A better relationship with his family, because I know that's what drives Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
That person stepping in is going to be able to provide you those things, and that's what you need to be speaking to.
I just thought, and I'm going to incorporate this in the interviews because I haven't been in the phone interviews, but and maybe not in the phone interviews, but I've got some, coming in for in-person live interviews, and I'm going to be asking them, what problems can you solve for me? I'm not going to give them any other direction other than that. I'm just going to ask them, what problems can you solve for me, and see what their answers are.
That's good. Because they'll probably say, well, I'll be able to.
I can file this.
Yeah, they're talking the features.
Right. But the person that's going to stand out
is going to be the one that says, you know what, Mark? I'll tell you what, I'm going to be able to step in and I know you've got some extra workload you need done right now, right? First of all, they need to ask questions to figure out what is the problem.
Sure.
And then they need to speak to that problem and be able to say, I'm going to give you your time, your freedom. I'm going to unchain you from that desk.
Yep.
How long have we been talking about that? Unchaining you from that desk, right? A while.
Year, 2, whatever.
Imagine that person comes in and says, looks at you dead in the eyes and says, Mark, I know you're chained right now. I know you got this, you got this, you got this.
Yeah.
You're not able to, quality time with your family. You're putting in extra hours. You're doing this, you're doing it. And they're able to speak that and go, I'm going to help you solve all of that.
And think about this. That's not hard. That's not hard for somebody to identify, because if you think about what you have to ask yourself, what does, in this context, what does an assistant do, right?
Yeah.
And so you can figure it out. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what does an assistant ultimately do, what value do they ultimately provide.
Yep. So really dissect that, guys. What problem do you solve?
Exactly.
It's so important. And if you can speak to that, you got a winner chicken dinner, okay? So again, we're talking about branding with intention here, guys. We're talking about defining your narrative. And the first thing I talked about is you need to know what drives you, what are you passionate about? What problem do you solve? And why does that matter, right? So that's where it goes into the sizzle. Sell the sizzle. Why does that matter? How is that actually making an impact? What is that doing for Mark? How is that helping relieve his problem, right? Okay, and this is where we're going to craft this in your About section on LinkedIn, okay? I actually have a ChatGPT prompt that will help you with this. I would like for you to think about this yourself, okay? I would like for you to do this homework exercise yourself. I want you to ask yourself those 3 questions and really come up with your own answers for that. Again, what are you passionate about? What problem do you solve? Why does it matter? But then we're going to take that, and we'll get your answer, and then we're going to put it inside of a ChatGPT prompt, and it's going to help write your About section, and it's going to craft a story that is really going to, when someone lands on your profile, they're going to see that. They're going to read that. They're going to go, man. Like, Mark's going to read it, and the assistant that he's looking to hire, Mark's going to read it and go, dang, this person knows exactly what I'm going through, and this is the person to solve my problem. I need to give her a call.
Yeah.
Him or her, whatever.
Yeah. And also, here's another thing that you need to do after you've identified and crafted this. And I hate this term. They call it star stories. I don't like that term, but you need to have a couple examples, right? Real work that you've done in real work environment, examples that you've done it as your stories, right? To be able to communicate that during the interview. Like, they tell me, okay, so tell me about your narrative. You've got your narrative here, right? And I like that. I like, define your narrative. Maybe we replace star stories with your narrative.
Yeah, I mean, well, and with the star stories, I mean, again, it goes facts tell, stories sell. So you should have some stories that showcase. I can't remember what the acronym STAR.
It's
strategic. I can't remember.
I'd have to go back to.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but
it is an acronym though.
Yeah, it's an acronym that actionable. Well, hell, shoot. We got Google,
Google
and we got time.
Yep.
Hey Google, what is a STAR story acronym? What does the STAR acronym stand for? It's something situation, task, action, and result.
That's it. I was trying to think of the T.
STAR is an acronym that stands for situation, task, action, and result. In the STAR method, an answer is assessed for including a clear statement of situation or task, action taken, result or outcome.
But that ties in, and again, that ties in directly with your narrative.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. So, again, we're going to talk about defining your narrative, craft those 3 questions. Guys, if you want that ChatGPT prompt to help you with this exercise, again, I would like for you to try it on your own. But I have a prompt that's really good. Oh, my gosh. It's so good. Okay. And it has a formula that we just input your resume into it. And it creates the narrative. It spins the narrative in this formula, and it really tells a story that closes the deal down to a call to action, and it's really phenomenal. So if you want that, I just want you to hit me up in a DM, okay? I want you to say, let's say ChatGPT about section. That's all I need you to say. ChatGPT about section. And I'll know that you were tuning into this episode. You were getting some value from this. You heard Mark and I argue earlier, and and you were like, oh, this is cool. Let me get that, okay? And I'm going to get it to you, all right? Next thing that we want to do here is we want to show up authentically, not perfectly. Oh, my gosh.
Real. Be real.
Be real. Like, we don't need an Instagram highlight reel here where you're picture perfect.
Right. No filters.
That's right. Yeah. I see it all the time in the job search. People try to, like, suit and tie and, like, you know, they're picture perfect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Look, be you.
How do they do that?
Yeah. I'm not saying don't dress to impress. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if that's really not you, you're gonna stand out in a negative way. You ever seen somebody that's like suited and booted, right? They're suited up, but they look really, really awkward
And uncomfortable.
Yep. And the suit's like too big.
Yeah.
It's like hanging off of them, and like you could tell, like,
yep,
this is not you.
But there, you know, and okay, so there's scenarios where like maybe you're overdressed, right? And I've seen that, right? Somebody's overdressed, and they're just uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I've also seen people that are overdressed that just own it, right? They're comfortable in their skin.
Oh yeah.
And they rock. And people are like, you know, they're like, oh man, looking good, whatever.
But that's authentically who they are. The clothes don't make them; they make the clothes.
Right.
They rock whatever they're wearing.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? That's authentically who they are.
The other side of that too is, you know, I think people are so afraid of making mistakes. And by mistakes, I mean, you know, like just little things like, oh, I said that, you know, and it gets in their head. Mm-hmm. They beat themselves up like in an interview, right? Yeah, you want to interview well, but don't be afraid to be able to say, hold on, I didn't answer that the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? Or just, that's the authenticity.
Right. And it also, okay, if you think about a position of power and authority and conviction that you're the leader, right? You think about those words, those are power words, right?
Right. Yeah.
Do you think that person is like so perfectly polished and want to answer every question that's like almost coming off as like they're like a yes man?
Like timid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think about
afraid to make a mistake. Correct.
I think about in a again, I go back to dating. In the dating world, if I go in there and I'm trying to answer all her questions, let's call it a first or second date, and I, you know, hey, look, I'm not perfect. I got flaws and I got but I'm trying to paint this perfect picture of myself because I want to. I just, you know, it actually comes off. You can sense it, you can smell it, and it's like a turnoff.
Not only that, but they're gonna find out the truth.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, hey, if you're in a job search, right, if you're trying to get the job, yeah, you want to put your best foot forward. But if you get there and you're just somebody totally not who you presented yourself to be, I mean, that can create extra issues, follow-up issues then. Could create toxic work environments. It could do a whole lot of other things.
You know, I'll give you a great analogy here. Okay, here's a great analogy. Let's just say we are working with a client in financial services. We're working with them, and they ask us a question that maybe was a really good question that, like, we don't know the answer to. Okay? And I want you to think about that in the job interview. The employer asks you a question you're not very confident in. You don't really know the answer. Do you fumble your way through it and BS your way through it and try to try to like pull something out of your butt?
Fake it.
Yep. Because you're trying to do what? Why are you doing that? You're trying to be perfect. You're trying to fit and showcase that I know everything. Mm-hmm. When really deep down you didn't know the answer to that question, and that's okay. That's authentic. That's genuine. You could have said, you know what? That's a really good question. No one's ever asked me that before. Like, can we unpack that? I want to see if I really understand that. And start digging in a little bit deeper and just say, okay, you know what? No one's ever asked me that before. You know, I tell you what, when I follow up with you, I'm going to have a good, clear answer for you on that. Right? And I would go to that person and go, wow, this person is now not BSing his way through it. This person is now a problem solver. Mm-hmm. Here was something they didn't know the answer to. They dug deeper. They weren't afraid to say that they didn't know it. They were confident enough to say, I don't know. I'm going to find out, though. I'm going to get that answer for you, right? That's the type of leader I want. I want someone who's a problem solver. So, again, one side you got this, someone who's trying to be perfect, fumbling their way through it, and it's just not authentic. You can smell it a mile away.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
You know, not just in our industry. I mean, across the board.
Yeah.
Especially in interviews.
In an interview.
Especially in interviews.
The company asks you a question you don't know, and you're like,
happens all the time.
You just start BSing.
Yeah.
Fumbling your way through it. Like,
yep.
You're just like.
I bet you every single position hired for in America has one person that has done that.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
One candidate that has done that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it happens
every single position.
It happens all day, every day. Right?
And that's that fake it till you make it kind of mentality.
That's it. They're faking it. They're trying to be perfect. And it's like, no.
Yep.
Be real. Be authentic. Say, hey, you know what? So here's some other examples of how you can be authentic and not perfect, okay? And in regards to your personal brand, okay, let's tie it back in. I want you to be human, okay? Humans aren't perfect. There was only one perfect human that we know of, Jesus Christ. He was the only perfect one that we know of. And you ain't perfect. You ain't him. I'm not him. We make mistakes. So, but guess what? In those mistakes, in those failures come what? What come inside of failures? Lessons. That's where the wisdom is. Wisdom doesn't come from being perfect. Wisdom comes from screwing up, burning your hand on the stove and saying, I was hot.
Unless you're Solomon.
Yeah, well, he asked for wisdom, but he still wasn't perfect.
Right, so it was not perfect, yeah.
But wisdom comes from failure, from lessons, from that's where you get the lessons from. Mm-hmm. Okay? So share that. Be human, be authentic. Share, you know what, here's where I messed up. Here's where I went wrong. Here's what happened. But here's what I learned. Here's what I would have done differently. Right? I want you to share the lessons learned, the aha moments, the light bulb moments, right? How did you come up with this revelation that when you put your hand on the stove, it was hot? Like, how did you figure out the stove was hot? I had to burn my hand first.
A lot of people do.
Right. And now you turn your mess into your message. Turn your mess into your message. Right? So share your lessons, share your struggles, share the behind the scenes, what it was like to get where you're going, right? People connect with the truth, not the polish. You know, some of the highest performing content that I post is transformation. Like if I post when I was 13 years old, you see a picture of me like in handcuffs or something crazy, like I was a screw up. And the before and the after. You know what? I wouldn't trade my crazy, wild upbringing for nothing because there's so many lessons in there. There's so much wisdom.
And it's made you who you are today.
Correct. Because of the lessons, yeah. Yep. I learned from it. And so that content performs so well, because people connect with that. And they also go, All right, people don't connect with perfect. Think about that. It's not approachable, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not. If somebody's like Tom Brady up there, it's just like, I mean, that guy, for all intents and purposes, was like perfect in his career. I mean, pretty boy,
Yep.
all the rings.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Except against the Giants.
And now he's got a divorce on his record.
right.
He's a human.
Yeah.
He's human, right? You know what I'm saying? Like those types of things are like failures. He's gone through failures, but you go, man, this guy, like, he could be unrelatable if there weren't some of that other stuff that we know about.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So again, people don't connect with perfect. They connect with authentic, genuine, real human. That's what they connect with. We need to put the human element back in the job search, okay? Not the polish. Now, the next thing, too, when you're building your brand with intention, consistency is currency, all right? Consistency is currency. I'm going to go back to this. It goes into my 7 C's to careers and cash flow, right? You want that currency? You want that cash flow?
Yep.
7 C's. Consistent content creates conversations that convert into careers and cash flow, okay? The very first C is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Consistent content. You can't just post something here and there and expect anything to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you might get lucky.
Right.
One thing goes viral.
Like, my personal brand, it's not like on LinkedIn, it's not like massive. I mean, there's people that have way larger followings and things like that and personal brand and all that than I do. But I got like a little over 40,000. And some people see that and they go, dang, you got 40,000? And I would say it's decent, right? It's a good following. It's a great following, and I'm grateful and appreciative. But that didn't happen overnight. It happened through consistency.
Right. And it wasn't that you were a celebrity that just hopped on, and because you were a celebrity, it was overnight success. You built it.
Built it. Brick by brick, post by post, right?
Yep.
Over time. And I think I got serious about it when I went through Shay Rowbottom's boot camp, the video marketing boot camp, and that was in 2019. So call it 6 years. It's taken 6 years to get 40,000 followers, right? I mean, I got on in 2015, but I didn't have nothing, right? It wasn't until 2019 that I got serious about it, and it took 6 years, essentially, to get to where I am now. But that's through consistency, guys. And what I would tell you is, you may be going, 6 years? I don't have 6 years. I don't have 6 years to get back to work. And I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is start now, okay? Because 6 years from now will be 6 years from now. In 6 years, you'll look back and say, man, I wish I would have, right? And it will help you 6 years from now, too, because guess what? You'll probably be back in the job search.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
So remember that your headline, your bio, your resume, all these things, your profile should also echo a very clear message. It should be the same message. When you go and you're driving down the highway and you see McDonald's, you see what? The Golden Arches.
Every time.
Do they look different?
Nope.
Is one a W and one's a M and one's capital and one's lowercase?
Well, now there's Cosmix.
Cosmix. I don't know about that. What is Cosmix?
It's McDonald's, but it's like their coffee and drink store or whatever. Yeah.
They're trying to remix it.
Yeah, this new thing.
Trying to remix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for the most part, the logo, the brand is going to be consistent.
Yep. Starbucks.
Across.
Got the mermaid, the lady with the green circle. Yep. Every time.
They may have.
They've actually changed that. Like, I don't know, 5, 6, how many ever times? I don't know if you knew that. Starbucks has changed their logo a bunch.
Really?
But it's always been kind of in that framework.
So that's what's called reiterations of the same brand, right?
Yep.
And you're absolutely right. A lot of companies will do that. They'll refresh and retool. Like One that really is a great example of, I would say, a huge update.
Branding.
Yep. Look at the, you probably would recognize this, the Kia logo.
Oh, yeah.
The Kia logo in the back in the day looked like straight up Kia, like KIA, right? And separate letters. And now it's like one swooping, it's all
KN. It looks like KN.
It looks like KN, but there's an I in the
There's
middle.
a new one, though.
Yeah?
There's an even newer one.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I thought they did a phenomenal job of keeping true to, it still says Kia.
Yeah.
If you really look at it, it still says Kia, but it's like an emblem now.
Yeah.
Instead of being letters, it's an actual emblem, like a car emblem. So I thought that was a great example of rebranding, but still keeping it the same. So it's like an iteration. But anyway, the point is consistent, guys. Your headline, your bio, your resume, all your channels, all of that stuff, it needs to be consistent. Are you saying the same message when you think about the problem that you solve? Is it showcased on all these places, so when they see it, it's like boom, 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 boom. This guy really, this is what he does, right? So anyway, every piece of content, it should reinforce your zone of genius, the thing that you do that only you can do.
Right.
So those are a couple things on building your brand with intention. Now let's talk about engaging with your network. All right.
Right. Yeah. And that ties in with consistency.
Yeah. You need to be consistent with it. A lot of people try to build their network when they need a job. Right. And that's the wrong time to do it. You need to be doing it proactively throughout your entire career, not just when you need it.
Exactly. I don't know how many times I've talked with people that are coming back through, right, the Career Transition Network.
Yep.
Like, I got to get my LinkedIn profile back up to date and, start messaging people again.
You know what that's like? That's like trying to build your safety net as you're falling.
Yeah.
How are you going to build it while you're falling?
That's a great example.
You're like I'm trying to build. It's like, no, bro, you should have been down there building that safety net before you fall.
Making sure your parachute's packed right as you're jumping.
You're packing it up, you're testing it as you're falling. No, that's crazy. Yeah. So again, consistency with your network too.
Yep.
And it goes back into, if we go to LinkedIn, let's talk about that specifically. You don't just want to post, especially post and ghost. That's where you boom and disappear. Like you need to be.
I've been totally guilty of that.
I mean, I have too if you get busy, but for the most part, don't just post and ghost. You want to.
So I guess my point is, I mean, I've been guilty of it, but I've seen what it does, which is nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's the point?
Right.
Why'd you post in the first place? You know what I mean?
Yep.
You want to actually engage. They have this thing called the golden hour, and it's kind of changed. And, some people say it's an hour. Some people say it's 90 minutes now. The point of it is stay there. If you're going to post, make sure you respond back to the comments. Now, I'm not saying you got to sit there on LinkedIn and just watch and wait and refresh and refresh and refresh. I'm not saying to do that. Like, continue working, but make sure, check. Go back and look at it. Yeah. And then if you got any comments, go respond and say, hey, I appreciate that. Make sure you're sharing, right? Make sure you're DMing and engaging with people that are in your network.
So this is something I've done, so maybe just a suggestion, maybe you can agree or disagree, but I'm really bad, right, with notifications. Like, I don't like notifications. It just is distraction from sometimes, right, for me. Yeah. So I've turned off my LinkedIn notifications.
Okay.
But then I've had to schedule time to remind me to go check it. Because there would be like weeks go by.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
You know what I mean?
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
100%. That's the person that you send them a DM and they don't respond back to you for 2 weeks, and then they finally go in and look at it 2 weeks later, and it's like, man, what if that message was urgent? What if there was, and also what does that do to your credibility? You lose credibility. If I was to reach out to a doctor because of whatever, I'm having some issue, some kind of medical issue, and I reach out to the doctor and I email the doctor, right? Or call and I get the voicemail and I leave the message. I don't get a hold of them, but I leave the message and I don't get a response back for 2 weeks. I'm already at a new doctor. You lost my business. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a problem. I need it solved. I'm going somewhere else.
Yep.
I'm not going to sit around and wait for 2 weeks.
Yep.
So you lose credibility. And when that doctor calls you back and says, well, hey, I need to get you scheduled. I'm like, dude, you lost my business, man.
Yep. I'm going through that right now.
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I called the VA clinic. They're like, yeah, we can get you in like May 30th.
You're like, pfft.
I'm like,
bro,
yeah.
I'll be dead.
I'm trying to get into the Denton clinic right now. That's a Plano one. I'm trying to go get in the Denton one now.
Yeah. So it's the same thing when you if you turn off your notifications and you don't set up your own notification, which is what you've done. You've set up an alert.
Yeah, basically.
Right?
Yep.
Which is good. I agree with that. That's great. Go in, set up time to go in and do that. But if you don't do that, you're missing out. I mean, opportunities are going to come your way, and you're just going to miss on them because they're timely a lot of times. They're timely requests and questions, and you're just losing credibility. You're
Well, let's talk about distractions, right? I guess with that. So if you're not going to utilize it, you let 3, 4, how many weeks go by, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go look at my LinkedIn. Why are you even using it? Yeah. Then it is a distraction. It's a distraction from other things that you could be doing that are value.
People just in that
that's no value.
Well, in that scenario, they don't see the value. They don't understand how powerful the tool can be if they used it correctly.
Yep.
And they think also that it's a lot of work. So, and it is. I mean, not a lot. It's okay. This is the analogy. All right. If I go to the gym and I put in 8 hours in the gym in one day, man, I go hard in the gym, 8 hours. Okay? You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Well, then you don't go for 3 weeks.
I may never go back.
Yeah.
I'm going to be injured.
Yeah, you can't walk. Can't even get out of bed the next day.
I may never go back. Okay?
That's what happens in January for most people.
That's it. Or I go 30 minutes a day for a week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, consistency, small
bite-sized pieces.
Small bite-sized pieces. It's discipline compounded daily equals transformation.
Is that Glenn Lundy?
I don't think he came up with it, but yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we heard it from him.
Yes.
I don't know where he heard it from.
Got you. Right.
But yes, discipline compounded daily equals transformation. So discipline is doing the thing that you should do, but you don't really want to do. Like you don't really like want to work out or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? You'd rather sleep in.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But discipline is doing it anyways. Like doing the thing that you know is going to get you the result, but you don't really, having the discipline. That's right.
Willpower.
Yeah. Compounded, right? Daily equals transformation. Mm-hmm. Consistency, right? Yep. So consistency is currency, all right? We need to do that. We need to don't just post and ghost. Make sure you're commenting, sharing. Make sure that you're actually engaging with your network and sending them DMs and messages, right? Keeping your network strong. Don't just, again, if you're connecting with people but you're not engaging with them, it's not really good. And speaking of engagement, you should leave some high-value comments on other leaders in your industry. I would say at least 10 posts a day. Okay? It may sound like a lot. Oh, my gosh. 10 comments a day? How long is that really going to take you? 30 minutes? Especially if you do it this way. Let's just say that you go find 10 people that are where you want to be. These are the leaders in your industry. The influencers, the people, the thought leaders, the experts, whatever that case may be, the person that's where you want to be. Find 10 of those. Okay. And I want you to go follow them and ring their notification bell every time they post a new piece of content so that your news feed, you get the alerts, and now it's right there.
And they're getting the engagement.
They're getting the engagement, right? And why is that important? Why would I want to show that much value to this person like that? Why would I want to do that? Well, because that person's been where I want to be. They know the path. They know how to get there, and they can help me get a shortcut, right? The fastest way to get from point A to point B
Absolutely.
is to pull over when you're lost, is to pull over and ask someone who's been there for directions.
Right.
Right?
Right.
They can save you time.
Yep.
They can say, hey, avoid the street on, that street over there. You want to avoid that. Shoot, you might get mugged over there. What you need to do is take a right at the light. Go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They know how to get there.
In addition to that, I mean, engagement with all of your network, right? I mean, that is engaging with you. And even if they're not, like, I guess the reason I'm saying this is because if you're not engaging with them, there's no value, right, that you're providing. And when it comes time that you need some help, some value from somebody else, they're not willing to give it. That's why so many job seekers come in and they're like, well, I sent them a message.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear anything back.
So you sent a message when you needed something, only when you needed something.
Yeah.
So that's like, all right, everybody
It's like the friend that only calls you when they want something.
Bingo, that's exactly where I was going. Everybody knows that person. That when they show up on your phone, you immediately go, ugh.
What do they want now? Ugh. Yep.
Right? When they call you.
Yep.
You're like, right?
Yeah. Some people have family members like that.
100%. Right?
Yeah.
They only call you when they need something.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah. Don't be that girl.
Don't be that girl. Don't call or send a message only on LinkedIn when you need something. Engage with them. Add value. This goes back to the give first, then ask, right? If you want to ask, you got to give first. Okay? Add value. So again, we want consistency across all of your social media platforms, your bio, your resume, all of that. We want to post content. Oh wait, I went a little too far. I went too far. I went back to consistency. What were we talking about?
Show up in the conversations, right?
Oh yeah, show up. Yeah. In the comments. Yeah, show up. Start engaging with people in their content.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, one of the ways to really pack a punch, you want to get somebody's attention online. You want to really stand out. You want to position your personal brand and wow people, or maybe even get the decision makers' attention, is to send a video comment. If you just send a video comment with their name on a little whiteboard and you flash it at the camera, like, it's going to blow them away. Mm-hmm. And the other cool thing about that is you're going to interject 3 C's into this video. So the 3 C's are commonality. What do you have in common with them? Give them a compliment and then a call to action. And you're going to do all 3 of those in 30 to 45 seconds.
Yep.
So as an example, there was this lady, she worked at LinkedIn. And I can't remember what I was trying to get done, but I needed something from LinkedIn. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but I needed something from LinkedIn. I'm talking with this lady who's got what I need. She works at LinkedIn. You got what I need. You know what I'm saying? I need to get her attention. But she's a busy lady. Okay, cool. She posts this post about California. And it was about a concert in California. And so I'm like, all right, I need to get her attention. What do I have in common here? Concert, it's California. Okay, California. My family lives in California. My grandma lives in California. Okay, there's the commonality. My grandma lives in California. Cool. Compliment, call to action. So here's what the video looked like, okay? It was something like this. It was, hey, Susan, absolutely love this post. I can't believe it. It's got me California dreaming. My grandma lives in California in Whittier. Where are you from, by the way? Anyways, really appreciate it. Got me over here thinking about how much I miss my grandma and I need to go see her, and I just really appreciate you for that. So, hey, look, I'd love to have a quick conversation with you sometime. I know you're probably super busy, but here's a link to my calendar over here. So just pick the time that works best for you. But hope you're doing well. Thanks again for the post, and have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Right? So in that post, I hit the commonality, California, my grandma. Compliment. Great post. And call to action. Hey, I'd love to chat sometime. Link to my calendar. You do that in a video comment, and you will get these conversations.
Yep.
And I would tell you to do 10 of those a day.
Here's the thing, and it has to be, well, it should be, and I know LinkedIn will populate previews, but they took out their video, right?
What do you mean?
Didn't they take out their video recording? Because you used to be able to record a video in LinkedIn, in the chats.
You're talking about in the DMs. I'm talking about in the comments.
Oh, in the comments. Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I'm talking about leaving a video comment. So you post, and I leave a comment on your post with a video.
Right. So the key is that it has to have a GIF in the preview at least, right? So, and you want to tell them about BombBomb?
Yeah, that's what does that. So BombBomb's the tool that does this, that I teach inside the Career Transition Summit. So make sure you come to the summit, and I'll teach you more about that. Let me take a look here, because I think camera, you can still record a message
In the DMs?
It has to be mobile.
Yeah, that's it. Okay,
Yeah, so
gotcha.
you hit the little plus button right here, and then it says camera right there.
That's the issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's when we're talking about DMs, leaving a direct message. What I was talking about is a strategy of trying to get people's attention
in the comments.
Yeah. Right? Before you go with their DM, before you go and message them. This will get them to connect with you in the first place. They're like, wow. Right? They're literally going to say, wow.
Right.
Who leaves a video comment?
Never seen that before.
Right? Super impactful. Check that out, or come to my Career Transition Summit. I'll teach you how to do it. But so 10 posts a day, comment on 10 posts a day with either decision makers or leaders in your industry, and show up in the conversations that you want to be a part of. That's important, right? If you want people to see you as the expert, start showing up where the experts are, right? Show up to the party. That's kind of like what you were talking about earlier about events, showing up at events. There are LinkedIn events. You can go check them out, and there's people there. Connect with those people. Start building relationships and having communications. Start showing up to the party. Stop just hiding behind the ATS and applying online. You're hiding, guys. You're hiding. There are other people that are applying for that job that aren't hiding.
Yep.
They're on there doing the things that we're talking about. They're posting consistently. They're engaging with people. They're talking. They're having conversations. And you're not. You're getting beat.
Believe us. Believe us. It's being taught. That's what is differentiating people. It's getting out in front of people.
Yep.
And you wonder why you're beating your head against the wall.
Yeah, you're getting
Just
beat.
click an easy apply on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you're getting beat by the guy who's posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
He didn't even apply.
Yeah.
That's Mike Materian. He's not even applying. He's just posting
He's getting
online.
job offers, right? Yeah, just posting
Because,
and commenting.
again, I'm going to give two examples, okay? So one example is, let's just say it's one post a day. But we're going to, one post is a job post, and the other post is a post on LinkedIn. The post on LinkedIn is going to go out there. Maybe it gets 200 views, 500 views, 1,000 views. The job post got 0 views.
Yeah.
And you're doing that every day.
Yeah. No calls.
No callback.
Consideration.
Like,
you don't even get a no thank you half the time.
no comments, no likes, no nothing.
No comments, no likes, no dislikes, no thumbs down. Nothing.
It's like you're getting shadow banned. Okay.
Nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
You're getting shadow banned. So anyway, guys, just do something. Let's look at what's a good use of our time. All right. So here's Career Strategist Spin. Okay. I'm going to tell you how to spin this thing. All right. So this episode's all about visibility breakthrough. I want you to break through the noise. I want you to start commanding attention. I want you to get the attention of those decision makers. It's about not waiting to be picked, right? You're going to start building something that can't be ignored. They won't be able to get away from you. There's something called omnipresence. Omnipresence is when, have you ever gone on social media and you look and you go, dang, Trevor's on Facebook, and then you went over to LinkedIn and dang, he's like, I see him on LinkedIn, and then you go over to Twitter and you say, oh man, there he is on Twitter, and then like boom, like dang, he's everywhere.
I get that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm subscribed.
Is that I'm everywhere, right? You're like, oh, Trevor's annoying, right? The guy's so doo-doo, like he's everywhere. Can't get away from that guy. But that's the point I'm trying to make. You're going to build a brand that can't be ignored.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Yep. And the cookies and the algorithms, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're setting you up.
100%. And this is about being magnetic, not manipulation. Okay? We're not manipulating things. We're just letting the world know. There's a big world out there, and the beautiful thing about it is you have access to it right here. Everybody does. And the playing field is equal for everyone. Mm-hmm. How cool is that? So we gave the story about the plumber. Okay? The playing field is equal for all the plumbers. They could have done what he did. He didn't have an advantage. There was no leg up. He just did it.
Yep. And he got his start like any other grassroots startup on YouTube.
Yeah.
Camera.
Got a camera out.
Somebody recording him.
Somebody recording him fixing a toilet.
Yep.
You know? So, guys, start putting your expertise out there and start showing up, right? Show up. Start letting the world know. Here's who I am. Here's who I help. Here's why I care. Hell, here's why you should care, right? That's what you need to be sharing. Get that message out there to the universe, okay? So, where are we at with this episode, man? You know what I'm saying?
You know, we want to talk about some of the branding strategies that really are cutting edge, right? Out of the box kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
Not your norm.
Yeah.
So what to do, right? What are you going to do over the next 3 weeks?
Yeah. Over the next 3 weeks, think about this. Your first post could be, what am I passionate about professionally? Remember we talked about that? Those questions? I want that to be your first post. What am I passionate about? Remember Mark when he was talking about his light bulb moment? That's what he gets passionate about. When he can see that people get it. That's a transformation, by the way. He can see a transformation in somebody. Their light bulb goes off. They get it. That drives Mark. That's what he's passionate about. That's when he feels fulfilled. He feels like he's done a good job. Right? What is it for you? And I want that to be, hey, week 1, that's what you're going to post about. Right? Week 2, post about the problem you solve and how you solve it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the analogy of the assistant that is going to help Mark unchain him, right, from his desk. That's the problem she's really solving.
Yeah, that's what you need to communicate.
Sell the sizzle, right? Week 3, okay, I want you to post, what others say about working with you, right? A testimonial. Matter of fact, hey, go ask someone to make a video testimonial.
Record a testimony, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Say, would you do me a favor? Like, think about anytime someone gives you a compliment, like anytime you're ever getting any praise, anytime someone is, saying, let's just say you did something for them, they're giving you a little praise for it. You can ask them to put that in writing in a LinkedIn recommendation. You could say, hey, I really appreciate that. Would you put that in a LinkedIn recommendation? Or take it a step above and beyond that. You could say, hey, I really appreciate that. Would you mind giving me a video testimonial? Just saying exactly what you said, but can we record that?
Mm-hmm.
It would help me out so much in my search. Sure.
Yeah.
No problem. So now you got somebody else's words. What are more powerful? What's more powerful, when I sit here and tell the world how great I am?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm so good.
Yes, it's not self-promotion.
Right.
It's referral.
But when the rest of the world says, oh my gosh, Trevor's so great, you need to go see Trevor. He's amazing. He's going to help you with X, Y, and Z. Dude, he will solve your problem. Right? Or if I'm getting online and I'm like, hey, my name's Trevor and I can solve your problem.
Yeah.
I'm the best. Right?
Right.
So get a video testimonial, somebody else saying how great you are. Okay? So that is going to be kind of your next 3 weeks. I want you to post that. Now, I would say you want to do at least, guys, at bare minimum, you really need to be doing at least 3 posts a week.
Can I make a suggestion too?
Yeah.
If you're asking for a non-video, like a written testimonial, like let's say on LinkedIn, it's one thing to ask, but you could actually include links, right, to make it easy for them.
Oh, yeah.
Right, that they can click on. So, it's like one thing to say, hey, can you leave a testimonial for me? And they're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. That's Daniel.
Right, yeah.
Alphonse Hyundai McKinney, Daniel. Shout out to you. Sure. That's how he sold cars. I swear, hold on. I'm going to go into that real quick. This is how he sold. And he was number 2.
Yeah.
He was number 2.
Yeah.
Because he would just agree with everybody. Any question? Sure. Can you get me $10,000 off? Sure. So they would shut up. Sure. Everything was sure. And then he would come back. I don't know. Like, it was so funny. Anyway, love Daniel. Sure.
So I just think it's also like, when you're asking for referrals, right? I mean, it's one thing to ask, but if you really want results in your ask, then you got to make it easy for people.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah. Well, and that's like create a Dropbox file request where you can send them a link, and all they got to do is drag and drop the file into the it's a Dropbox folder,
or Google Docs or whatever.
It comes right to you.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, you can do that very easily. I've done that to get the testimonials on my side. So that's great. But again, when you're doing these posts, guys, I would say on minimum you want to post at least 3 times a week at minimum. Okay. So just think about that. The other thing that you could do outside the box branding strategies, right? The LinkedIn featured section. Okay. I want you to add your 1-minute video resume there. So we're going to add that. So that way when people land on your profile, they're going to scroll down. There's this featured section. Boom. There's your video resume. Okay. Do you think they're going to scroll down and read all your stuff, or do you think they're just going to press the video? They're going to press the video.
Click play.
Yeah. It's like when you go to let's just say you go to a website and you're looking at a product and there's all this text on the website, you're scrolling down, and it could be visually appealing, but there's a video right up top. Right up top. You're like, boom, you press the video. Right?
I'm just laughing because, I'm a how the watch works kind of guy. So like on Amazon,
yeah,
you got a few pictures and there's usually like a video, right? It's oftentimes like a review or something or whatever. I always scroll down to where the description is, and I'm reading the description.
Dude, I hear you, man. You want to know how the watch is built. No one cares. You care. I don't know why you care. I watch the video and see, can that solve my problem?
Right.
I don't care. The description of how, like, all of that, how it solved. No, I want to see someone use it and go, this product solved,
Yeah.
And I go, oh, cool, this is what I need.
Well, it depends on what it is, I guess. But
yeah. But you're funny like that. Most people are more, they want to know what time it is. And so if we can show them what time it is in a 60-second video,
yeah,
right there in your featured section, boom.
Yep.
You got them. What about inside your featured section, you could add a carousel, okay?
Right, that's new, right? Is that new?
No,
the carousel. Oh, I'm thinking about the banner carousel.
The banner carousel is new for business premium. You're right. But you can add a carousel
to your featured, right?
A carousel is the little sliders, right? It's a post. It's kind of like a little slide presentation, okay? Add that in your featured section, and you could make it a case study. You could make it testimonials, right? Think about taking your recommendations that you got and go to Canva and create a graphic, and it's one testimonial, another testimonial about saying, hey, Mark's the bomb.com. Mark will solve your problem. Mark is this. Mark is that. You keep sliding it. It's just testimonial. What do they want when you go to jobs anyways? They want to see your what? References?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What if you got your references that said that Mark's the shizniz?
Yeah.
Mark, every time I come around, he's, responds to me. Bop, bop, bop. It's like, it's a little slideshow of that. It just says credibility, 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 credibility every time they slide.
Yep.
Right? Put that in your featured section. Again, it's not your words, it's their words. Right? So there's a couple things you could do with your LinkedIn featured section. Now, here's another one we could do is a comment campaign. Again, we're going to choose 5 to 10 thought leaders, or maybe even people that are in the hiring capacity, recruiters, hiring managers, people that you need to get in touch with. And I want you to comment on their posts daily so that you can get insights. I want you to leave insights as well, but you're going to gain insights at the same time.
And sprinkle in video comments.
Video comments. We're going to do a comment campaign, guys. That's what that is. 10 a day. 10 a day every day. Okay? How long would that really take you? Probably an hour. Okay? For an hour today, you're just going to leave video comments. Boom,
Yep.
boom, boom,
Yep.
boom. Now, the hardest part of doing that strategy is identifying the 10. Right? Identifying the 10. So you're going to do that in advance. I want you to do that in advance. Create your hit list.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that you're not sitting here fumbling around with who's the 10 today.
Yep.
No. Go take some time to identify first and create a hit list. Put them in an Excel spreadsheet with their URLs. Boom, 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 and then every day, bop, bop, bop,
Yeah.
bop, bop.
Well, to your point, and you're very good at this, which is just get started on the project, which means start the tasks. Right? Start the tasks. The tasks are small bites to eat the elephant. So, that is definitely something. And then also, one of the things that you're doing, I guess, during that time is you're getting the reps in to create other video and content if you're a little bit nervous or anxious about making video. And you've said this a lot too, which is it doesn't have to be perfect, right? And it's really just like almost leaving somebody a voicemail. You say that a lot, right? Which is like we all could call somebody up, and if we get their voicemail, we leave them a message. Yeah. Right? That's really what the video comments are. Just leaving them a message.
It's a video message.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a video message, and it's not perfect. And again, we don't want to be perfect, right? There's no perfect isn't approachable, right? There is no perfect. So be authentic. And when you stumble, like this episode, it's not perfect. Hell, just a minute ago, I got lost in my own freaking episode. I got notes here to keep me on track, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, I already said that. Right? I got lost. It happens.
Yeah.
But you know what? You keep moving forward. Did we stop? Did we turn the cameras off and go, oh, man, shoot, I messed up. We got to start all over.
Oh, no.
No. You keep going.
Yep.
Right? And I'm sure you guys at home or whoever's tuning in, you probably didn't even notice it. They probably didn't even notice it.
Hopefully you're entertained by this.
Hopefully.
It's
They're
better
paying
than
attention.
just watching two perfect, right?
Yeah.
Podcasters like, how boring.
Boring. You probably got more insight or more enjoyment out of our fight earlier. Well, it wasn't a fight, but our debate. Okay. Number 4 is the who I help statement. Okay. Include that in your summary in the about section. Right. I help X accomplish Y using Z. Right. So I help whatever that target audience is. So for me, that would be I help job seekers. What's the challenge that I help them overcome? Right. So I help them do what? I help them overcome ageism. Okay. And what's your unique approach for doing that? Right. So for me, it could be, by helping them to optimize their LinkedIn profile to attract opportunities.
By helping them engage with their network.
Engage with their network. It could be a million different things.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yep.
How do you help them solve that problem? And for me, there are multiple ways I help them solve that problem, but think about it in a one-liner.
Yeah.
In a one-liner.
Pick your top one.
I help X accomplish Y using Z.
Yeah. I say by doing, but yeah.
By doing Z, right? Or Z can also be, if you flip it, Z could be by avoiding what they hate. So as an example, I help job seekers overcome ageism by showing them how to land a job without applying online. Because they hate that. They hate applying online, right? How to get noticed without applying online.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
See what I'm saying? It can be, the Z could be also by avoiding what they hate.
By doing or by not have to do.
Not having to do what they hate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And typically that comes down to saving them time or money, right? Usually is what that comes down to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I got a call to action on this episode for you guys. I like to do that, give you some homework to go home with, right? Because it's one thing to just listen to us online. Okay, cool. That's fun. All right. But guess what? You need to take action. And this is it. This is what I want you to do. I want you to audit your LinkedIn profile today, not tomorrow, not next week, because it'll never happen if you do that. You need to do it today. After this episode, I want you to go look at your LinkedIn profile. Does it speak to the next chapter that you want in your life? What you want in your life? What are you trying to create in your life? Or does it speak to the last one? How does it look? Are you, like, when you look and you audit your profile, does it still speak to your past life or your future life?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Because your focus becomes your reality. So I want you to take a look at that. Add your who I help statement or your XYZ statement to your headline, your summary, your about section. I want you to add it in there. When people connect with you, they need to know exactly who you help. I help X accomplish Y using Z. They need to know that exact.
Yeah. Clear and concise.
Mm-hmm. And then I want you to we're going to start small. So I want you to post one piece of content this week. All right? Just one, because I want you to start small. I want you to just start, honestly. Post one piece of content this week and tag someone in it that actually inspires you, somebody that encourages you, somebody that lifts you up. I want you just to tag them, but tag them in the comments section. Don't tag them in the post itself, okay? Mm-hmm. So that's your call to action. Audit your profile, add the XYZ statement or who do I help statement, and then post one piece of content, okay? Not too hard. Is that hard?
Nope.
That's not hard, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Hey, if they're posting a link, you want to tell them about that?
Yeah. Don't post links.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Don't post links. There's ways to do it, but you're going to get caught up. That's a whole nother. That's the whole thing. Yeah, don't post links because external links, they're sending people off of LinkedIn, and they don't like that, so it's just going to kill your reach. So don't do that. Post an authentic piece of content that you wrote.
Or video. Don't
just share someone else's.
Your own. Yep.
Yeah, share. Like, you need to create this piece of content. I see people all the time, they're on LinkedIn and they're sharing. And that's great.
Okay.
It's great for the other person.
Right.
It's not great for you.
Right.
It doesn't do anything for you.
There's nothing for you.
Like, if you share this post right now, here's a clip. You share it right now. Guess who that helps? Me. Not you. Doesn't help you. Does it build your credibility?
Go ahead and share it.
Yeah, share it. Hit that share button. But, like, think about that. Does that help you? No, it doesn't help you. It helps me. Right. It builds my credibility. You're sharing my brand.
Right.
You're not building your brand or showcasing your authority.
Which is good. Look, you're adding value.
Yeah, you're helping me, but you're not helping yourself.
You need to create your own, post your own.
Yeah. So, I got one last question that I want you guys to ponder on for this episode, okay? Remember, you got your homework, but I want you to ponder on this question. If your LinkedIn profile walked into a room, would it command attention or would it just fade into the background? I want you to think about that and go do an audit on your profile. Guys, that's the show. It's all about who you know. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Who You Know Show podcast. My name is Trevor Houston, and if you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing wherever you listen and leave us a positive review to help us keep the mics on in the studio. Until next week, that's the show. It's all about who you know.